Today, I want to talk to you about why you and your company need to innovate. And at some point, you might think, oh, yeah, like this is so obvious. This is so clear why we need to innovate. We all know how important it is to innovate. Everyone's talking about innovation, everyone's talking about disruption. However, I often get the feeling, especially when I meet different managers and stakeholders, companies' representatives, and business owners, that it's not really the case. Like everyone is talking about innovation, but not everybody truly understands how it can help or what we can actually do with that, or that it should be incorporated into your company's strategy. I get the feeling it's more hype than some real actions. And I often feel that management prefers to avoid innovating rather than actually doing it. Because let's be real and honest, innovation is really uncomfortable and risky. Innovation is about introducing something new, and when you introduce something new, everything can go wrong. So it's really understandable why managers avoid innovating or choose only small incremental innovations over radical ones. Now, according to Boston Consulting Group, 83% of senior executives rank innovation among their organization's top 3 priorities. However, according to the report prepared by BCG, just 3% of companies in 2024 qualify as innovation ready, and less than half of executives feel that their organization has made a serious effort to align their business and innovation strategies. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. That just proves my point. Everyone talks about innovation, but not everyone is really innovating. And I also think that managers often miss the point of why you need to innovate, how it can really help the company, how it can really help the business grow, solve problems, and what it can actually do for what innovation can actually do for your business. And I believe that this is especially true for small and medium-sized companies, but the truth is, innovating is especially critical for them. So let's just talk about it, and I will be talking about why you need to innovate into parts. And the first part is going to be very practical, how innovation can really help you and your business. Because obviously, when we talk about business, when we talk about our company, we think about revenue, we think about money, we think about KPIs, we think about how to keep our company afloat. And this is a normal thing. We want numbers, we want money, we want to cut our costs, we want to increase our revenue, increase our income, improve our margins. And that's why I will be talking about this first. But if you think that this practical part is kind of obvious to you, you know all of that, and you know that, your company needs to innovate, and you already do that, maybe you would want to turn to the second part, because the second part is going to be more sentimental, if I can say so. I think that this sentimental part should also be here. And it's actually very important because I think that numbers, it's like boring. We all know that. And processes are kind of boring. And all these corporate things, they can be quite boring. But innovation isn't about boring, it's actually not. And to me, innovation is a lot about some emotions and feelings and this need to learn something new. And I want more corporate people, more managers to see that, because that's a lot of fun and that adds fun to their work. I do think that innovating is the most fun thing to do in business. So yeah, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa and I've been working for years on organizing collaborative university competitions for world well-known companies to solve their extreme innovation challenges. And now I continue my journey with the goal to foster innovation by helping different parties of the innovation process collaborate and co-create. On this channel, I explore collaboration projects for innovation management, share my experience in managing these projects and processes, and uncover strategies for making collaboration efforts more effective. So yeah, let's get to the practical part, and I want to start this part with what Peter Drucker said. And Peter Drucker is a very famous figure in the management field, and he said that business has basically two main functions: innovation and marketing. And I've actually been doing marketing for years, but I've been also working in innovation for 7 years so far. So these two areas, I know them the most. And yeah, I know them pretty well, I would say. So innovation and marketing are the essential business functions because these are the things that can take your business to the top. And this is what creates a customer and produces results. If you innovate, you create value for your customers and you differentiate from your competitors, and that's how you can get ahead of them. So by doing innovation and marketing, you win the market. As simple as that. Well, not that simple in reality, but yeah, kinda. So what's really surprising is that when companies face some sort of crisis, these are exactly two functions that suffer the most because companies cut costs on marketing and innovation activities first. That's what they do. And yeah, I believe that that's a mistake because innovation, and I'm going to keep my focus on innovation because that's what I'm talking about here. And innovation is exactly what can help you get out of the crisis. And there is actually some research done by McKinsey that is proving my point. And this research claims that companies that continue to invest in innovation during a crisis experience superior growth and performance post-crisis. So that's just something to keep in mind. This is like just a note, something I wanted to start with, our practical part. And when it comes to the first point on why exactly you need to innovate, is innovation can help you cut costs. As many companies nowadays want to do that, I don't think that's what you should really focus on, but I know that many businesses and companies, they are really focused on cutting costs. So let's start with this point. And here, for example, imagine that you have an expensive process to produce your product. By improving this process, by innovating for this process, by finding new ways to produce what you make, you can reduce your costs. You can innovate in operations. You can innovate in distribution that would allow you to reduce your expenses as well. Or maybe you're using a very expensive material. Yes, it has amazing properties for your product, but it's pricey. And through innovation, you might find a new material with the same or even better properties that's going to cost much less. And there is a video on YouTube where Michael Pfeiffer provides some cases like that from the metallurgical industry. And one case involved replacing a more expensive alloy steel with a less costly alternative that still met all application requirements. And so that's why you can really think about investing some money into innovation, into R&D activities to find this new material for your product. And even in marketing, you can innovate even in marketing, and it can help you reduce your expenses. If you innovate in your marketing approach, you can lower the costs of promotion. Now let's talk about another major point that most businesses are interested in, and I'm talking about beating the competition. And of course, you can do sometimes with some other instruments like branding, for example. You can make your product, your brand so strong and recognizable that everyone wants it. But innovation is what really helps you to stand out, because with innovation, you create something entirely unique, exclusive, that your competitors don't have. And then, if this innovation makes sense to your consumers, for example, if more people find your new product or service technically more appealing, or they see that it has superior or unique qualities, or if it aligns better with their values. For example, we can talk about some sustainable products, and if your consumers value sustainability, having your product more sustainable by innovating, by creating something new, you will be able to have your consumers more loyal to you, because they will be more likely to choose you and not your rival. And you can of course gain new customers, and yes, that's how you win the market. And now when it comes to medium and small companies, it's absolutely essential to innovate to be able to compete with big enterprises. They must work on innovation, and I think specifically on radical or disruptive innovation. They must give the market something unique, because if you do not provide anything unique, if you do not provide anything special, and you have a big company that provides the same product as you do, you will always lose, because it's easier for them to produce something in big volumes, it's easier for them to cut costs, they have more money for marketing, for all the promotion activities. So it's just more difficult for you to, not even more difficult, it's close to impossible probably to compete with them if you cannot provide something unique. So here innovation is the only way. And when it comes to examples, we can talk about Netflix here, for example. We can think of Amazon, a classic example of Ford that came up with an innovative process to manufacture cars. All these companies were able to leave their competitors behind because of the innovative products, services, and processes they introduced. That's how they won. And if you're interested in innovation for small and medium companies, if you want to learn more, you can check this video over here. I talked there about open innovation for SMEs, but you can find something useful there. Another point where innovation can really help is dealing with regulations. I live in Europe, and we all know how things are here when it comes to regulations. There are a lot of them, and European politicians are constantly working on new ones. Sometimes it might look like it's their only job, but I didn't say that. So how can companies survive in this world of endless rules? By innovating. If you're operating in a country or a market where new regulations are about to be introduced for your product or service, you have to comply. For example, if the European Union introduces a regulation about packaging, what do you need to do? You need to innovate. You need to find new materials for packaging that is going to meet the new standards. Otherwise, you're going to lose access to the market. You will lose your consumers, you will lose reputation, and the government doesn't really care if the technology or material already exists. They just pass the regulation, and it's up to you to figure it out. For example, there is this long-standing discussion about per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, chemicals that can resist heat, grease, water. They are long-lasting, so they're used in many cleaning products, personal care products, etc. But they are harmful to the environment and humans, and eventually they will most likely be banned. So I know that proactive companies have already been looking for solutions for quite some time to this problem, and they're looking how to replace these PFAS. And I'm talking about 3M, for example. They are quite actively working right now to fulfill their commitment to eliminate PFAS components in their products. They promise to do it by the end of 2025, and I hope they will be successful. And of course, you cannot just remove these components from your products, and they cannot do it. they need to figure out the right components that they can use instead of PFAS that could do their job, that could be long-lasting, but that will not be toxic for us and for the environment. So yeah, 3M is doing everything to be a first mover. They are not waiting for regulations to come. They even want to do it before these new rules are enacted. And yeah, they can later use it in their promotion. They can say, hey, we have eliminated this harmful chemical from our product, but it still works just as well as before. And this is powerful, you know. That's how you work to attract new customers and beat your competitors. Now, another point on why you need to innovate is, of course, getting to the new market. And it doesn't really matter why you can't access a market right now, whether it's because you don't have the right product or because of local regulations. Innovation and coming up with new products, new services can open this door for you. Let's say that there is a niche that's not being served by big players. How do you reach that audience? You need to create something for them. If it doesn't exist yet, you need to make it. You can't just take the same product the big companies use and expect to succeed. You have to innovate. And this is a real opportunity for small and medium-sized companies. They can find new spaces, new use cases, new audiences. They can enter these overlooked markets, generate good revenues, and eventually grow. Over time, they can improve their product and expand their reach even to those larger, more established markets dominated by big players. That's how it actually works. You start by serving a small, overlooked niche, then you improve your product, raise the quality, and eventually the broader market starts noticing you, and you might even change the whole game and make disruption happen. Now, disruption is hard. It's really hard, and true disruptive innovation is very difficult to achieve, but it's not impossible. And even if you don't disrupt the whole market, even if you stay within your small niche, that's still a win, because you can still have a very specific group of customers that you serve well, and in that niche you can earn good margins and build a sustainable business. And it works not only for small and medium companies, top companies do it too. They also need to open new markets. According to McKinsey, 70% of top 20 companies by economic profit globally have innovated to expand the size of their market or to create a new one. And when it comes to cases, we can name Apple as an example of a company that got access to a completely new market with their iPhones. And yes, they presented disruptive innovation. Now, another quite an obvious point, another thing that innovating can help you with is getting more customers and serving their needs and serving your old customers better and serving their new needs better. Because we live in a pretty fast-paced world nowadays. Everything is changing so quickly. There are lots of new products that come out on the market every day, and consumers, they get new needs. So that's where innovating is really helpful for your business to keep up with your consumers, not only with your competitors. And when it comes to examples, I think we can talk about many companies. But yeah, let me remind you of Lego and their Lego Ideas, which is the platform where fans and creators can submit and vote on their product ideas. The company then develops official Lego sets based on winning ideas. So here we see a great case not only of innovation, but of an open innovation model, which allows the company to align closely with customer desires and trends. So this is a good thing. Now, another really important point to mention, innovation helps you attract top talents and investors. And this might not be very obvious, but this is something that you should really think about. And this applies to all businesses, to small companies, medium-sized companies, even large corporations. Because when you innovate, when you create something bold and outstanding, you naturally attract the best people, the top talents, because the best people want to work on cutting edge technologies. They want to grow, they want to go beyond, they want to challenge themselves. So if you want to have such talents in your company, you need to give them that opportunity. You need to offer exciting challenges. You need to give them the chance to build something meaningful and innovative. And this is especially true for small and medium-sized businesses. Having top talents is a huge competitive advantage. These people don't just do their jobs, they create innovation. But they won't work on something boring. They won't work on something old. They won't join a company that is stuck in the past doing things the same way as everyone else. If your product is outdated, if your approach is really old school, why would the best engineers, scientists, or designers come to you? They will not. And if they don't come, it's difficult to innovate. So it's a loop. But if you create space for innovation, when you build an innovation culture in your company, then the best people will want to be a part of it. And when they join, they will drive that innovation even further. And the same logic applies to investors. Investors want to put their money into companies that are going to grow. That's the whole point. So how can you expect them to invest if you're selling an old product with a limited market in a slow-moving space? It's going to be hard. And if you're not innovating, you're probably not growing. And if you're not growing, why would they invest? Innovating shows them that your company has a future, that you're not just surviving, but evolving. It signals ambition, it signals energy, it signals potential, and that's exactly what attracts investors. So whether you're trying to recruit the best people or just raise money for your next stage of growth, innovation is the key. And it's not just something nice to have, this is a must. And to give you an example, think of any startup or any big company that is heavily involved in modern technologies. They are the ones getting the best workers and the biggest investments. Let's talk about OpenAI, let's talk about Meta, top startups in all different areas. One more important point that I want to mention is about reinventing your company. At some point, your product or service might reach the final declining stage of its life cycle. The market becomes saturated, your solution is no longer new or exciting, growth slows down or just stops entirely, and the reality is you can't expect big growth from a product that's already mature. It's just there is nowhere left to grow with it. And that's why innovation is essential here. Not just to improve what you already have, but to reinvent yourself, to reinvent your business, to come up with entirely new product, entirely new services, new offers for new markets. And when it comes to examples of reinvention, I think we can talk about DSM because they have done it a couple of times in their history. They transformed from a coal mining company to a chemical company once it was clear that Netherlands' coal resources were depleted. And now they focus on sustainability, health and nutrition and bioscience, like something completely different. And of course, they wouldn't be able to make it without innovation. Well, open innovation in their case. Okay, so those were very practical examples that I gave, very practical points for your business. But yeah, the main point for any business, what they want to do, what they want to have, and why they need to innovate is to grow. To keep growing, to attract new customers, keep beating competitors, finding ways to deal with regulations, open new markets. And yeah, according to Boston Consulting Group, companies with above average R&D spending achieve a 6 percentage point higher success rate in growth transformation. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, and you might want to invest in innovation a little bit more than your competitors. And yeah, now let's get a little bit sentimental. I feel like it's really important to mention this part here. I'm very passionate about innovation because we are talking about discovering something completely new, something that can open doors for the whole humanity, something that can really make the world a better place. And I'm sorry for these words, but they do mean something to me. We can innovate to create a better society, solve world problems, help people in different countries with all their different problems. And yeah, we can innovate to help ourselves. Another point is that we have that side in our nature, the side that wants to explore, wants to discover, wants to go somewhere no one has ever gone before. Innovation is about curiosity. It's about asking what if and why not. It's about dreaming and then building something real out of that dream. And I truly wish more managers, more people working in innovation could stay connected to that curiosity and to that sentimental side of innovation. Not just focus on numbers and processes, not just ask how much revenue will this bring, because honestly, most of the great things we enjoy in life, the breakthroughs, the innovation, the products we love, they didn't come from spreadsheets. They came from someone's curiosity. They came from someone's craving for something more, something bold, something like insane, completely insane, something that had never been done before. I wish more companies would support that mindset. I wish more managers would create space in their departments for that, because it's just so fun and fulfilling, and it makes sense, and it gives you meaning to your life. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in passion. I believe in being so obsessed with an idea that you can just go from one corner of your apartment to another. And that's what I actually do when I think over my ideas. I believe in chasing something new, even when it's so scary, even when it's risky, even when you're building your business, your company. I mean, I don't understand what is the point to build your company just for money. Like, I don't understand that. Why not create something? I believe in building something that didn't exist before. I believe in going beyond. Just think about it for a moment. What can you do to make things better? And isn't it on a different level from following some metrics and KPIs? Isn't following your passion better? I honestly don't know why a person wouldn't want to do it. I don't know, maybe that's me. Obviously, your boss or your partners might not like the idea, and it won't be easy to innovate in general. But honestly, even like crazy ideas could become practical solutions that might make your company a lot of money. So yeah, we're not talking about like just something out of the world, like something completely useless. We are talking about something practical, But yeah, still something that might not seem practical, at least at this moment, but it might become practical later. Even if it doesn't really make you a lot of money, the process of trying, of exploring, of getting your knowledge, you will have this knowledge, you know. Even if you fail, you're gonna know, you're gonna have a lot of information from your experiment, and it's going to help you move forward. So yeah, innovation is risky. And of course, for every success story, there are many that didn't work out. But today we have more tools like lean startup methodologies, design thinking, agile development. We have AI tools, all designed to reduce risks in innovation, to help you test ideas in small steps toward something people actually want. So yeah, just maybe be more curious, be more obsessed in creation, because bright ideas and bold solutions are what make companies truly successful. That's how it happens. Not just profitable, but impactful and respected and admired by consumers from all over the world. And yeah, that's what I believe in. I don't know, I think this video was quite obvious with all its points, but maybe it's me. If it was helpful for you, if this video inspired you to go and try something new and find something new for your company, that's going to be amazing. I'd be very, very happy about that. And yeah, I hope you liked it. And I hope to see you in the next video. I wish you good luck with your innovation activities, either open innovation activities or closed ones. Doesn't really matter. Just good luck and have a good one. And bye!